Hello, welcome to another episode of Daddy Did an Oopsie, please forgive him. I just have to apologise a little bit for this week's episode. Not in terms of how much fun we had with the guest, all a lovely episode to do and to listen to. It's just that this week's episode was recorded on location at the King's Theatre in Glasgow, and I set up all of the equipment myself, and for that reason the video quality is bad because I did it wrong and badly. And what can I say? There's a reason that I don't do all the technical stuff for this podcast. I just sit in front of the camera with the guest with my lovely huge natties. So apologies in advance. Audio wise, all sounds great, so you'll enjoy it, you'll love it. We've still uploaded the video footage anyway, because I know some of you like to watch on YouTube. Just a little apology from me that the video quality is not great this episode, but it will all go back to normal next week when we're back in the studio. And as I've been saying this, my neighbour's dog has been taking an absolutely huge dump in the back garden. A little fun fact for you there. That's a little nugget you wouldn't have got if I'd recorded the episode properly. Anyway, I'm rambling. Please enjoy this week's episode with my wonderful guest, Frederick Embezzlement. Ed Gamble. Sorry, that's his actual name.
You know, some people age like a fine wine, and some people age like a can of special brew left on a hot windowsill. Whichever one you are, get ready to talk about those pesky little emotions of yours, because it's time for another episode of I've Had a Rosé, Let's Talk About Feelings. Please welcome your host, Sam Lake. It was me the whole time. I'm ready.
So is that how we're starting?
Yeah.
I'm ready, yeah.
You said that with some determination.
Okay, sorry, I forgot the lines. You said that with some determination.
I'm ready.
Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. How long do you want to do this for?
We can do it for hours.
Okay.
But stop now, yeah.
Okay, all right. Hello, everyone. You might notice we're not in the usual studio this week. That's because it's a special episode for a special big boy. Stick a funnel in my arse and pour in some margaritas because joining me today is Ed Gamble.
Hooray!
Hello.
Should we explain where we are, Sam?
Yes, we should. We're on your amazing tour.
We're on my tour, certainly.
And we're currently in Glasgow.
Glasgow, the King's Theatre.
The King's Theatre.
Backstage.
Yeah.
What I found is the nicer and older the theatre, the smaller the dressing rooms.
This one is actually slightly bigger than the one over there.
It is, but I think basically Victorians were only very little. So they only needed small...
Tiny little
rooms.
Victorian
Tiny
people.
little Victorian people, yes.
Tiny little Victorians.
Yeah, because they all had sad bones.
Sad bones.
Yeah.
Sad bones. Rickets and scurvy was quite rife back in the day.
Yes, I think that's what I mean by sad bones, really.
Yeah. That's why I'm making sure I'm getting my vitamins by sucking on a Mao-Wam right now.
I was going to say, it was very bold.
Very
you said,
bold.
I'm ready to do the podcast then, and I come in, you're gobbing on a Mao-Wam.
Yeah, and the thing is, I can't swallow it
I have
now.
to stick with it now, like it's a stylistic thing.
It will evaporate eventually.
Yes. I think that's the word, isn't it?
Are you enjoying the tour?
I am having a lovely time. I'm only about 2 weeks in, so I'm still sort of engaged in the show when I perform it. Mm-hmm. Give it a couple of months and I literally feel like I can levitate above my body and watch myself doing the show.
Okay.
But hopefully, I've got a little break in between, so hopefully I'll be engaged for longer than normal.
Okay, lovely.
Fingers crossed.
So audience can look out for the night where you finally go dead behind the eyes.
Completely dead behind the eyes.
Completely dead behind the eyes.
It won't be in Glasgow tonight.
No. I think I'm quite excited for this one.
This is going to be a good one.
Because I live here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were in Aberdeen last night.
Sure were.
Dunfermline the night before.
Oh, weren't we just?
We were. And you know what? I semi-dreading them, and I don't know why.
We went into a lot of them with very low expectations.
Yes, and they did exceed them, to be fair.
They really did.
Yeah, they were good gigs.
Yeah, they were lovely.
Tonight's going to be shit.
No,
that's the way it all works, Sam.
Do you think you can't? Do you think you'll do a bad one?
Nah.
No.
I can't do a bad one.
No.
No, it's always the audience's fault. That's the first rule of stand-up comedy.
That's what everyone's always told me. Yeah.
Blame the audience.
Yeah. It's all their fault. You're disgusting. Let's talk about your drink of choice.
Yes.
And I went out and got them especially.
You did.
And I also got you a Kinder Surprise.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And you were very specific.
Yeah.
A Pepsi Max Cherry.
Pepsi Max Cherry.
Yeah.
Because it's pre-gig.
We are pre-gig.
Otherwise, I might have gone with a lovely glass of Riesling
Oh,
or a nice pint of Guinness or something.
yes.
But I felt like pre-gig, you can't be messing around.
You've got to
Especially
be
a big
sensible.
one. It's
Yeah.
the King's Theatre in Glasgow. It's like,
Yeah.
1,500 people or something. I can't be
Can't
messing
just
around
be
with a
pissed
drink.
on stage.
I didn't have a drink before Dunfermline. I'm not going to have a drink before Glasgow, right?
No.
So this is my when I'm on the road.
Yeah.
However sad this sounds, Sam, but I'm sure comedians will fully understand if they're watching. This is my treat,
It's your treat.
especially if I'm driving, which
Yeah.
I'm not on this tour.
No.
But if I'm driving back late from somewhere and it's just me, I can't wait to stop on the way back and get myself a little Pepsi Max with cherry.
They're not sponsoring this in any way.
No, but if they would like to sponsor me, I'd probably think twice because it's quite a big sort of multinational corporation. There's probably some evil going on.
But there's some you could probably do an ad for them or something.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'd need to look into their sort of business practices, and once you've done that, you may as well not do it because there's going to be skeletons in the closet.
Well, and you could always get screwed over like what's her chops, Kylie Jenner,
Yeah, exactly.
which did the Pepsi ad to
Yes.
end racism.
I'm not sure I'd do that exact ad, I'll be honest. Even if I was advertising Pepsi, I'd probably then go, maybe I won't do the thing where I walk up to the riot police.
No, you do the one where you keep racism alive.
yeah, exactly.
Keep it going.
Can
Yeah.
we talk about the label, Sam?
I'd love you to talk about the label.
Because this is a recent redesign.
Your face says that you're not happy about the
No,
redesign.
I am.
You
I think it's
you
a
like
rare.
it.
I think it's a rare occurrence
Aesthetically pleasing.
of getting rebranding right.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's some other different flavours. I think there's one with mango or something, which I'm not going to touch. But they've got little orange balls there.
Little orange balls.
Little orange balls. But these are little red balls, of course, for cherries.
Yes.
And they've gone back to the old Pepsi logo from, I think, probably the 80s, 90s.
That's the logo classique.
Yeah, logo classic. And I just love the way it looks. Max written like that. It's very cool.
You like a good solid design.
Solid design. It's legible on the shelf.
Yeah.
Because there was an issue, and I'm going to get into the nitty gritty here now. It was
Okay.
referenced on the tour the other night, but you wouldn't have known what Paul was talking about, the tour manager.
Okay.
There have been issues with the old design where Paul's gone into the petrol station and said, "Can I have a Pepsi Max Cherry?"
Yes.
And he's accidentally picked up a Pepsi Max with raspberry because it wasn't
He
legible.
said Pepsi Max Raspberry the other night.
I don't think they sell that anymore, but it wasn't legible, Sam. And now there's no mistaking. This
Now-
is cherry.
Is Pepsi Max Raspberry bad, or is it just you're disappointed because what's in your mouth isn't what you wanted?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
a real shock when you pop it in your mouth and you go, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
But fine. I'd occasionally have a raspberry by choice, but I need to know what I'm popping in there,
But mango, you're not touching.
We don't need a touch of the tropical with Pepsi.
No.
With drinks that are outrightly tropical.
Yeah.
Love a bit of mango, love a bit of pineapple, love a bit
Okay.
of coconut.
Right.
With Pepsi Max, I don't think you should touch the tropical.
You shouldn't touch the tropics.
No.
Only the berries.
Only the berries, and I think they don't do vanilla. Coke do a vanilla.
Coke do with vanilla.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But for me, it's cherry all the way.
So this is just because it's a treat. If you're in like a restaurant, maybe a Nando's, I don't know if you've ever been, would they offer you, if they were like, oh, could I have a Pepsi? And they were like, sorry, we've only got Coke, is that okay?
Yeah, I'd have Coke.
You'd be fine with that. You're not precious.
But you're not getting a cherry in the restaurant.
No.
Unless you go to Burger King and use the freestyle machine.
And you get the free, yeah.
But then I'm not doing cherry because I can get cherry in a shop. I'm doing like whatever they have, like egg or whatever.
I truly make an abomination in those
Yeah.
machines.
I got no idea what the flavour is by the end.
Fanta Peach mixed with Powerade Blue.
That is bad.
It's really good,
Is
though.
it? Does it work?
Yeah.
I'll try it next
And
time.
sometimes a splash, a bit of strawberry on top.
Nice. Just
Yeah.
just to sweeten it up a bit.
Just for flavour.
It's a wonderful world. It really is.
It really is. You are allowed to drink it, by the way.
Thank you. I'm going to pop the microphone down.
Please, you thirsty little boy.
You pad a little bit.
Well, whilst you open and sip, I'll explain what we're about to do. You've got a lovely little drink. Oh, well, this is good ASMR I'm talking over, isn't it?
Good, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, I can't wait for this, actually.
I don't know, there's something about watching you open that and then drink it and look like it tastes nice that makes me want to buy a Pepsi Max Cherry. Maybe you should be in an advert.
And racism.
Oh, that will do good. So you've got a lovely little beverage. something that is a treat for you.
Got my beverage.
So now we're going to talk about a topic that
Yes.
you're passionate about.
Yes.
And we're going to find out about how it connects with your emotions and feelings.
Oh, okay, great.
Are you ready to be raw and vulnerable?
I can't wait. People always do the thumbs up when they're about to be raw and vulnerable, don't they?
I like to add a little cross of the eyes as well. It's fun. It's harmless fun.
Yeah, a bit of fun.
Your subject, not something I'm versed in.
No,
which
this is
think
why
a
I
good
picked
thing.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Every guest tries to screw me over. You chose wrestling.
Professional wrestling.
Professional wrestling.
You've
Now,
got to say professional wrestling.
professional wrestling. Oh, so not like Olympic wrestling?
No,
Not
because
Greek Greco-Roman
no,
oily
not any
wrestling?
of that. None of the sort of Olympic business. None of the stuff that's pure sports.
Okay.
Because when you watch that, a lot of the time they don't know who's going to win.
Okay.
A lot of them don't have characters. There aren't any running storylines.
Right.
And that's what makes professional wrestling good for me.
So it's really just like a night at the theatre.
It really is. It's,
Yeah.
They call it like, muscly soap opera, that sort of stuff. It's.
We'll see if something was called a muscly soap opera, I'd be more inclined to watch.
I think you'd enjoy professional wrestling, Sam.
Has there ever been a match where they get nice and soapy?
Yeah, I mean, 90s WWE or WWF as it was then.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad stuff. Like they did. The women's divisions come on a lot, but
Right.
they made them do things like bras and panties matches.
The bra and panty matches.
I'm sure there's been soapy matches.
Back in a period of history where I once believed I was straight, I used to watch those matches a lot.
To try and ignite some feelings.
They're trying to ban conversion therapy and they don't realise there's actually one.
It's available in Attitude Era WWF.
Now, are you loyal to a specific company? Because so there's WWE.
Yes.
And not WWF, that's Pandas.
Yeah, that's Pandas now.
That's
But that
Pandas.
was WWE.
And there's AEW.
AEW, the big new challenger, have been around
Yeah.
for about 5 years. So I should say I was really into wrestling probably when I was between the ages of 12 and 15. Then sort of stopped being obsessed with it. I tend to get really hyper-focused and obsessed with things. And got really into music. And then recently got back into wrestling again because my
Right.
wife got really into AEW over lockdown.
Okay.
So I started watching a bit of that and then sort of thought, I'll just peek and see what WWE are up to. And now I'm into that as well.
You've gotten back into it.
Yeah, and British wrestling. We go to live British wrestling
I was
events
going to
as well.
say, because British wrestling used to be a big thing. Is it having a come up again?
Yeah, I mean, certainly live. I think it's always had a. So we go to Progress, who are one of the big independents in Britain, and love it. And you're right up close. You can smell them.
You can smell the
Yeah,
taint.
exactly.
Yeah.
And there's just something. It feels like you're at what I'd imagine a lower league football game is like. There's ridiculous chants.
Finally, a reference I'll understand.
Well, I don't understand it, but that's what I'm saying. It feels like it would be like that, maybe.
Yeah.
But just the fans are funny, like the chants are good. There's a wrestler that actually my wife also trains as a wrestler, by the way. She's
does
she's
she?
not an actual wrestler, but she does the training.
Your wife seems like she's really good and really cool
Yeah,
at a lot
she
of
is.
stuff.
And she's in bands and stuff.
Yeah.
She's way cooler than me.
Yeah.
And one of her trainers is a wrestler called Nina Samuels.
Okay.
And she's a heel, which means bad guy.
Yes, that's the villain.
Yeah, and
It's heels and...
baby faces or faces, yeah.
Okay.
She comes out, she's like proper like arrogant and she's very glitzy.
Yeah.
And she wears a very small top hat on her head. So when she comes out, everyone chants "tiny hat, tiny hat."
Well, that's just, you know what? No one gets hurt with that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very much say what you see.
I pressed a button here. I just want to make sure that's fine.
I think you might have just adjusted the volume.
Is that all right for you?
Probably.
Yeah. The other one is tiny hat or massive head. Tiny hat. It's good stuff.
It's very clever.
And it's really fun, and they're shouting at the crowd, and you're giving it back to them. It's great fun.
Are the fans maybe slightly less toxic than, say, football chanting?
They're nerds, and because you're chanting against or for a character, the person performing as that character is in control of how they're being perceived.
Oh, okay, that's a lovely way of looking
So
at it.
it's more like a pantomime thing. You're booing the bad guys and you're cheering the good guys.
Do they ever get in a big old horse?
I bet there are places where there has been a big old horse.
A big old horse.
There's a independent wrestling company called Riot Cabaret who do shows at the Clapham Grounds.
I think I've heard of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's really good fun. But they did, and I was devastated not to be there. They did a '90s themed sort of Royal Rumble thing, and Mr. Blobby was in it.
Stop it.
Yeah, the Blobby's music hit, and everyone went wild, and Mr. Blobby ran to the ring and took everyone out.
What? Everyone out.
Yeah.
A mass blobbying.
He did a cross-body out of the ring, so there were loads of people stood on the side of the ring, and he jumped and cross-bodied everyone.
Wow.
So it's ridiculous, basically.
It sounds
wrestling.
ridiculous.
And AEW's a bit more serious. They have sort of less storylines. They're a lot less sports entertainment-y. They're more about like pure pro wrestling. So they do have some of the best wrestlers, and I love those matches as well.
The actual stunts that they do are very impressive.
Oh, it's insane, yeah.
I've seen, from the clips that I have seen, there's people like doing back somersaults off the top of a massive cage.
Yeah.
People getting suplexed into a big table.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of clips where they love to sign a contract in the middle of the ring,
There's a lot
and then someone comes along and smacks the pen out of their hand.
Yeah.
And then they have a big old wrestle.
They should know, really, to not do legal business in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Because you're asking for trouble. That's why they do their
Do
fighting.
your taxes another time, Undertaker. Well, so who are sort of like your wrestling icons then?
Well, at the moment, there's some amazing wrestlers at the moment who I love to watch, and if they're wrestling, I will make sure I tune in for that. I'll have a Butchers. So there's Will Ospreay, who is pretty much the pride of British wrestling, is now in AEW and is smashing it.
And that sounds like a normal name. That doesn't sound like a...
Yes, you'll see that a lot these days. Is there's less like I'm the silly king or whatever.
Right.
Which is a great gimmick.
The silly king.
Yeah, the silly king. Mm-hmm. Because certainly in WWE, they keep their real names, because then when they go somewhere else, they can just keep that name. Whereas if I went into WWE and they said, we want you to be the silly king, then they own the silly king. And if I get really famous as the silly king and I decide I want to go to that's TNA or AEW, then that's me done. I can't be the silly king. I'd have to go back to being Ed Gamble.
Okay. Yeah. Is Silly King not your legal name?
No. You'd have to change my name to Silly King by deed poll.
I do think Silly King is a good name for you. It's very good. I remember, again, I used to watch all of the ladies wrestling.
Yes.
Because it used to be, I think, the night would mostly focus on the men on men stuff.
Yes.
All of my nights focused on the men on men stuff. But then the women would be given a section of the show. Yeah. The divas and
so that's what it was called in WWF, was the divas. And
WWF?
That was WWF.
Oh, is that... Oh, okay.
As it was known then.
Right, yes.
That was divas. The women's division was called the divas.
Okay,
and they had the belt was pink and it had a butterfly on it.
Of course, so you know it's for the ladies.
Yeah. And they would do things like pillow fights. There was a pillow fight once. Really bad. And now their women's division is like insanely brilliant.
Yeah.
Like the matches headline WrestleMania. It has a lot more focus on it as it should.
Was there not wasn't there an all ladies night or something? I remember seeing something about how there was an all women event, like there were no men's events
quite possibly.
lined up.
They've got a stacked roster at WWE. So
lovely old stacked roster.
Yeah, big old stacked roster.
Are any of the legends still in it? So the women that I remember were women. I think one of them was called Stacey. There are probably several.
Stacey Keibler.
Yes.
Yes.
And she used to be married, or she used to date George Clooney.
Did she?
Yeah, I think so.
Stacey Keibler was a big person for me back when I was in my teens, I'd say. Keibler, Trish Stratus.
I know Trish Stratus,
who came in as like a diva, like she was a fitness model, I think, initially,
right,
and then learned how to wrestle, and then just got better and better and better. And she came back recently and did some matches and was incredible.
Yeah.
How
long has she been going?
Oh God, over 20 years, I guess.
Good on her.
Years. Yeah.
Good on her.
Yeah.
There's another one who I think was like maybe either Stacey's tag team partner or just someone that she did a lot of matches with, called Tori something. I really want to say her name is Tori Cabinet, but it's not.
No. But that is a great name.
That would be a great name. If Theresa May ever felt like getting into British wrestling.
Tori Cabinet.
Tori Cabinet. And then of the men, there's... So the ones that I'd be aware of are like The Rock.
Well, The Rock is back in WWE now.
Is he?
Yeah. Well, he comes back every few years anyway. But now, if you want to get really nerdy about it,
Okay.
WWE merged with the people who own the UFC and have formed a new company called TKO, and The Rock is on the board. And as part of that, has obviously gone, we need to pump the stock up. So he's gone back into WWE and is having like a storyline with Roman Reigns, who's the champion, and Cody Rhodes, who's the potential champion. So The Rock is wrestling twice at this year's WrestleMania.
Okay.
So he's back and forth. He looks amazing, obviously. He
always has. Yeah.
Better than he did back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see him do 2 full matches, I think. Because I think if you're out of that game and you're not doing it regularly...
It must require a lot of stamina.
Yeah, it's stamina.
A lot of stamina.
It's the engine. You've got to look after the engine.
You have to look after the engine.
The guy's a star, you know. What can I
Yeah.
say?
And I guess he's got an investment in the business that makes him want to do it. Yeah. And then you've got... Was it him who had the catchphrase... I'm going to say it wrong.
Please.
Are you... No. Are you cooking something? It's not that, is it? But it's something about cooking.
It's not him sticking his head around the door of the kitchen. Are you cooking something?
You got something in the oven?
He's not asking anyone if they're cooking something. He's cooking something and he's asking if you can smell it.
Oh, okay.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He put us a lot of gusto behind it.
Yeah, but more gusto than that. I sort of gave it 30% gusto, I think, compared to The Rock.
I think are you cooking something? Is a better catchphrase.
Are you cooking something over there?
You cooking something?
Smell beef.
So those are legends. Anyone else?
Oh, I mean, they all sort of they pop in now and again because a lot of them can't wrestle anymore.
No, but they like to make a sort of like cameo appearance.
Yeah, they make a cameo. I mean, Stone Cold's not been back for a while. Stone Cold Steve Austin, you probably remember him. Mm-hmm. Ric Flair was knocking around in AEW for a long time. AEW will sign up a lot of old WWE people as well.
So there's a lot of like sort of swapping about.
A lot of transfers.
Yeah. Okay. What was I going to say? So how do you feel about sort of the newer lot where there's a big trend, it seems, of influencer-y people, like one of the Paul brothers, getting into wrestling or boxing, but one of them is in wrestling, I think you said.
Logan Paul is
in the wrestling
in WWE, and everyone was really annoyed when he joined
because of how horrible he is.
Because of how horrible he is, and like going, well, it shouldn't be about that. It should be about working really hard, becoming a wrestler, going up through the indie circuit. You know, like when someone suddenly starts filling massive rooms as a comedian, they've not done the clubs, that sort of stuff.
Yes.
But with him, they were just, they were a bit pissed off. And then they saw him wrestle and they were like, oh no, he's really good.
So he actually does have the skills to back
really
it up,
good.
Does he?
Yeah. A lot of it's because he's been trained specifically by Shawn Michaels, who's another legend, who's now involved in production.
So it is kind of like he has come in with a lot of privilege then.
Yeah, totally.
Because he's got access to the things that lots of people wanting to get into it won't have.
Yes, 100%. But also then as a consumer of the wrestling, you are still just getting some good matches. What's funny is he came in thinking he'd be a babyface. That was his presentation, was like, I'm going to be a good guy.
He's got heel written all over him.
And everyone started booing.
Yeah.
But it must really hurt because when the crowd are booing other heels, it's because they've worked on a character and they're like, I'm the bad
welcomes
guy.
the booze.
Welcome the booze. And what they were doing was booing his genuine personality.
Okay.
Which, you might say he deserves.
I would do that even if it wasn't a wrestling match. just if he was in Tesco Express. Because he wrestled with a rare Pokemon card or something on a necklace. I remember that really riled people up.
And now, which I think is riling quite a lot of people up, he has managed to get Prime as an on-ring sponsor.
The drink.
The drink he has with KSI. I mean, at WrestleMania last year, he came to the stage with someone in a Prime costume, dressed as a big bottle of Prime.
Okay.
And that person got basically slammed through a table by Seth Rollins, and then they took the mask off. It was KSI underneath.
Of course it was.
Yeah. But now, for the first time ever, they're printing an advert on the ring.
For Prime.
And
they don't normally do that.
They've never done an in-ring sponsorship. And now they're doing it, and it's a big bottle of Prime. So I think people are annoyed about that as well.
An in-ring sponsorship.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care.
Okay, fair enough. So what about, when you're watching a match, I assume you stay up late to watch
I can't
special
do
matches.
that anymore. I used to be able
or get
to
up
do
early
that.
in the morning.
I get up early in the
You
morning.
get up early
yeah,
in the
so I'm
morning.
on tour next week, 2 weekends time, and it's WrestleMania.
been
So I'll
saying,
be,
yes,
I'll be
you're looking
getting
forward
up,
to it.
I'll be getting up early.
Doing a light sleep,
Yes.
and then waking up to watch your wrestling.
Watch the big fight.
Watch the big fight. What talk me through how it feels then to watch a match that you've been really looking forward to? There's been a lot of build up. You've been waiting for the match up, and then you see it happening.
What I really it's twofold because I love the matches. I really like just good matches anyway. I don't need a lot of build up if it's two wrestlers I really like. And they do good stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of what AEW is. They just go, well, that guy's good and that guy's good. Let's see what happens there.
Okay. Yeah.
It's WWE. They build the story. They get it going, and you just want to see it paid off in the right way. Just like when you're watching a drama.
Sure.
Because wrestling fans love complaining, and I like seeing them complain. And I like seeing them get angry.
Okay.
But what's fun is now that obviously everyone in the world knows that it's set up and that all of the
No.
but they didn't used to. You know, there were huge swathes of people who didn't realise
Who
it was
really
fake.
believed that it was.
Yeah, who really believed it was real. But you know, and now people know it's a storyline. But obviously, like the physicality and the athleticism is real.
I was going to say, even if it is choreographed, it's still really impressive to look at.
Oh, it's amazing. And choreographed as well is too specific a term for it, I think, as well, because they're calling stuff while they're in the ring. They know it so well. They can like subtly whisper to each other that they're going to do something, do it, take it, and like it's incredible. They're like
As in stuff in
a lot of it.
they're not going to be like,
match,
I'm going to get a Domino's later.
They might do.
Yeah.
Maybe in the British wrestling, they do that. But people complain about that. Go, I can't believe he won. Why did he win? It doesn't make any sense. Like, these are quite often like nerdy men complaining about story arcs is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's really funny to me.
I suppose so, yeah.
It's like an EastEnders forum.
EastEnders?
Yeah. That's a soap.
It is, but I mean, like, I've seen more people complain about, like, do they complain about stuff the same way that people were complaining about, like, the Lord of the Rings show? Because, like, they were like, there are no elves that aren't white.
No, they don't tend to complain.
Okay, it's more just stuff to do with the story.
With the storyline, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, people do complain about like why is there only one women's match and all of this stuff. Like there are people on it like complaining about that sort of stuff, but it's mainly about the story going like that doesn't make any sense. Why would he turn on him? There's been no build to this whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I don't know, so obviously a lot of the time the story is like they're trying to win the belt, or they're trying to win a championship of some kind,
or get revenge.
And if someone is like a popular face, so like that's the hero that people should root for, and then I assume at some point the people who like decide how things are going to go will come up to them and be like, so you're in the championship match, but you don't win. Or I've seen a lot of clips where it's like someone will win the match and then someone who's had nothing to do with anything runs into the ring, flicks their nips or something, and then takes the belt off them, and they're like, I'm the champion now.
I don't know what clip you watched where someone who had nothing to do with anything flicked someone's nips and ran off with the belt.
Well, I'm obviously not using the technical term for what they did, but it's like at the last minute, someone will like sneak into the match and then win it after like they've beaten everybody else.
Yeah, so there's something called Money in the Bank that they do every year in WWE where it's something like 7 or 8 people. They all try and get a briefcase that's suspended above the ring.
Oh, okay.
And there's ladders and stuff, and they have a big fight, and then eventually someone will get. And in that there's a contract, more contracts. They love contracts in wrestling. They love it. And then they have a year with that contract where at any time during a show they can turn up with a briefcase and the champion's there and go, I want a championship match now.
Okay, yes, all right.
So there's an amazing clip from, I can't remember which WrestleMania it is, where Seth Rollins does that, and I think it's Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, and they're like having the match or whatever, and then Seth Rollins turns up with the briefcase,
rocks up,
runs towards, and he wins it like that. It's very exciting stuff.
So that was a satisfying story.
Yes.
Just coming in and snatching it, changing it at the last minute.
Yeah, because it's not what you're expecting.
But how do you think it feels to be the person who's like sort of building like the character and the brand, like the actual wrestler, to then find out you don't win, or like, you know, maybe you don't get, your character doesn't get sort of like the payoff that you would hope that they get? Because obviously like winning a championship, that's something that must go on like some kind of record of your
Yes.
like wrestling career.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have you won WrestleMania or whatever it is?
But I guess, there probably are a lot of egos where they're like, but I should be champion all of the time. But then if you don't win the championship, what's the story after that you've got to look at? Then it's the struggle is more. And
It's like, what's
you're building
next?
towards, what's next? You're going to keep working out what the next storyline is.
I think Tom Daly said something about this once.
Did he?
When he won a gold medal, and then
Yeah.
he said afterwards he was more depressed than he's ever been in his life. Because he was like, well, what? I can't dive off anything higher.
Is the diving fixed as well? Do they know what?
There's a lot of rivalries.
Tom, it's your time.
Yeah,
You're going to
yeah,
win
yeah.
the diving.
Olympics rigged.
Yeah.
all actually just Amdram.
I do think all sports should have the result decided. It would make it much more exciting to me.
Yeah, but then you could do some really crazy stuff with like dressage.
Yeah.
Get the horses involved. Well, that's nice then. So, okay, so if you could plan like a fantasy match, would it be a match or a one-off match or like an evening of events?
An evening of.
Ed Gamble Wrestling and
who
Friends.
would I put in it?
Who's doing it?
Am I allowed to bring people?
Who aren't wrestlers? You can bring in anyone.
No, but I mean, old wrestlers. Are they still old in my fantasy?
I think we'll do... I don't know if this reference will make sense. In Tekken Tag Tournament 2, they all turn up, and even the people who were dead are there, and Heihachi's there, but he's there as like a younger, fitter version of himself. So it's like...
Yeah. So everyone's
go crazy. When they're at their ultimate peak performance.
So a lot of this will be from Attitude Era WWF, which is when I first got into it. So they've got like they're closest to my heart.
Yeah.
I want a tag team match, which is the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys.
Okay. So the father and son from Harry Potter versus...
You want to see him flying off the top turnbuckle.
I really do.
It's devastating. The Dudley Boys are incredible, and they're still with us, but they're not really wrestling. The Hardy Boys are still wrestling, but I want to see them in their prime.
Right.
Wrestle.
Okay.
I'd like Will Ospreay to be in there. I really like Swerve Strickland, who's in AEW at the moment.
Okay.
Maybe them versus each other. Although I'm probably going to see that.
So three. Have we got 3 teams all in the ring at the same time?
Is this one match, or am I planning an evening?
Let's say one match.
Oh, okay. Oh, that is harder.
And you can choose the type of match as well. Are they fighting over, I don't know, a mortgage application?
I do quite like the hardcore matches when they hit each other with stuff. And they get weapons out from under the...
Oh, like on Gladiators
ring.
with the pugil sticks?
Not quite. It's more like chairs and barbed wire.
Okay. Weaponry.
And glass. There was a match recently in AEW where they used big sheets of glass and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Really painful looking.
You're really signing on for a lot of health and safety issues, aren't you? Okay, so there's like little bits of throwable things everywhere.
But I think I'll watch the tag team match. I'd like the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys.
Just a couple of boys.
Yeah.
Just a couple of boys smacking each other with chairs.
Yes, please.
Is there any fire involved?
Can be, yeah. Set fire to a table, put someone through a table.
Lovely.
One of the Dudley Boys once power bombed an 86-year-old lady off the side of the stage. Mae Young, her name was.
Okay.
Mae
I'm
Young,
leaving that.
Mae Young was this is, I think, the most legendary 90s storyline was Mae Young, who's like a legend of wrestling.
Yeah.
But she was like in her 80s around this point. And what the storyline was, that she was having an affair with Mark Henry.
Okay.
Who is a former world's strongest man. He was like an American, US Olympic weightlifter, massive bloke, super strong. But his gimmick at the time was Mark Henry sexual chocolate. And he's like sexy. That was the thing.
Okay.
They had an affair, and everyone was like, "That's a bit weird."
What's the age difference between them?
It must have been 40 or 50 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate.
So they were like kissing in the ring and stuff, and everyone was like, "It's a bit weird you're doing this."
Right.
To the WWF, bosses, like, why are you doing this? And they were like, "Oh yeah," and they went, "Okay, we're going to wrap up the storyline." Do you know how they wrapped up the storyline?
I would love to know.
Well, it turned out she was pregnant, and then she gave birth.
No, she didn't.
You've not even heard the end of it yet. She gave birth
If you're about to say another contract,
to a hand.
what?
She gave birth to a hand.
What? Was something in what you explained there supposed to make sense why she would give birth to a hand?
No.
Okay.
And no one knows.
She gave birth to a hand.
She gave birth to a hand.
Sorry, like a
Human
like a
hand.
bare hand,
Yeah.
like the thing from the Addams Family.
Yes. Yeah, she gave birth to a hand, yeah.
Oh well, he went on to a very successful career then.
It's well worth looking up. It
Okay.
makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
But does that make you? Does a storyline like that make you appreciate when there's a really good storyline where like all of the
Definitely.
beats have been properly thought
Yeah,
out?
where you're actually gripped by it. There's one at the moment with Roman Reigns and the bloodline and the Rock's involved and all of that, where it actually feels like high drama.
Yeah.
But I love the silly stuff as well.
Sure.
I love thinking about that old lady giving birth to a hand. It's fantastic.
I mean, it's very strange.
Yeah.
So you like the sillier stuff as well. I assume that some of the heels are sort of like comic relief as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that's influenced you in any way, seeing as you're a silly king?
Maybe this the silly king. Yeah, I mean, I've done one wrestling match before, and I did take to it quite easily.
Was this the comedians' wrestling match? Olga did it, and then
Yes.
a couple of weeks, or maybe whilst the training was happening, because you all had to train quite properly for that.
Yeah, we did. And when I say I took to it easily, I mean the walking around being a silly king, not the actual wrestling itself.
Right.
But, yes, we all trained properly. We went to a proper place to train.
Olga was very excited the next time she saw me after training, because she was just like, I can pick you up. So whilst I was hosting and she was done with her set, I was like, give it up for Olga. And then she like did a thing where she put an arm in between my legs and then one over my shoulder. She had like the proper technique and then just lifted me up.
Yeah.
And she was like, could do it all day.
Easy.
Could do it all day.
So the people who trained us for that also train my wife in wrestling.
Okay.
And one of the coaches said, "Oh, I've been feeling really bad, but because when we trained Olga, I don't think I properly explained to her that when she is thrown into a ring post, she can protect herself a little bit. And during the match, I just saw her run headfirst into the ring post. But she was committed.
Yeah. She always commits.
Yeah, you got to respect that.
She quite famously commits to every bit. She really does. Did you love being a wrestler then?
It was the best. I was a horrible little heel.
Of course you were.
Ed the Gambler Gamble.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
I love doing the moves as well, doing suplexes and stuff, and taking the moves, having the ass beaten out of me.
What was the like most hardcore move you ended up doing?
So I did suplexes. So you got someone's head under your arm there.
Yeah.
You put their arm over there, and then like straight off the floor back.
Yes.
I did 2 of those in a row, and then went for a third one and got taken into a DDT. But
A DDT.
yeah.
Is that thing?
So if we were stood up, I'd have your head here, so you'd be bent over and have your head here, and then
Okay.
I'd flick backwards and drive your head into the mat.
I do understand.
But it was great. There was towards the end, I was stood up, I was taunting. I had Ivan like this, like just going, like,
Yeah.
and Max climbed up on the ring post behind, top ring post, and did a super kick, double-footed super kick into my back. So I knew that was coming.
How do you receive that though? And
That
not...
is easy.
Is it?
Yeah, you just get kicked in the back.
And that's fine.
Well, it's a shock, but you're like, I'm about to be kicked in the back, and its impact, I just went straight to the floor. I
Okay.
loved it. There's so much adrenaline that it's sort of all right.
I can imagine. Yeah. Lovely.
But I enjoyed just
You just
annoying everyone. It's brilliant.
Is it because, well, I mean, I don't know if people know this, quite a nice person in real life.
I'm a cutie pie.
You are a little cutie pie. So is it nice to sort of indulge and sort of being
a little
nasty
shit,
little
yeah.
bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good fun, that.
If you were on EastEnders, you'd be a total slag.
I think I'd come into EastEnders seeming like I was a good guy.
Yeah, but everyone seems like a good guy
No,
when they
some
get
people
to
come in
EastEnders.
and they're like, "Ooh, right." Straight
Yeah.
away they're angry, but I think I'd come in being like lovely cutie pie, and then over the course of the month,
Yeah, don't look in his
find
freezer.
out, bad
Pat
killer.
Butcher's earrings. So to wrap up then on the wrestling, it's quite nice because you said like your wife got you into it,
Yes.
and it's something that you enjoy together.
Very much so.
So I think things like that, like passions like that, where you can enjoy it with a loved one, they're always quite nice. Is there like an overwhelming feeling, like if you had to sum it up to one feeling that wrestling brings out in you, what would you say it is?
How specific do you want the feeling? Because obviously it brings me joy and excitement.
Of course, joy and excitement. If that's like it, that's wonderful. But if there's something more specific, go ahead.
I think it's joy and excitement. It certainly doesn't... some people worry about these things making people more aggressive.
Yeah. They say that with video games as well.
Like that.
Yeah.
None of that.
No.
Because it's really camp wrestling.
It's so camp.
It's really silly.
Men in tiny little pants.
They wear such tiny little pants.
Making fun of each other's handwriting when they look at the contract.
I wish they did that more. Look at your handwriting. Would you write in capitals?
Yeah.
I think it's just joy, and it's joy. It's just pure excitement. It's just silly as well.
It's silly.
I love being shocked about how good a move is, and then suddenly laughing that something ridiculous has happened.
Yeah, so it's a nice little juxtaposition.
It really is. Yeah.
The physicality and then stupidity.
Yes.
Love that. Absolutely lovely. There's one little section of the show that we'll end on.
Please.
It's got nothing to do with wrestling or Pepsi Max Cherry.
Okay.
It's called Quick Fire Feelings.
Okay.
I've got a list of things.
Let's do it.
I'm just going to ask you about them.
Okay.
And you quickly sum up how you feel about them. Okay. First thing, and I ask this to everybody, how do you feel about dark chocolate?
I love dark chocolate.
Do you like a bit of dark chocolate?
I'll eat the 100% stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's bold.
It's bold.
There's nothing in that except cocoa solids.
Yeah. I love it, but also I would say, I hate to bring on about it, type 1 diabetic, the very dark chocolate is actually quite good because it is way lower in sugar.
Yeah.
So you can pop a few squares of that. You're getting that sort of chocolatey hit, but not all the sugary hit. But then also I love dirty milk chocolate as well.
Dirty milk chocolate.
But I do like dark chocolate, I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologise for
chocolate
it.
with a bit of peanut butter on it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nobody said that before.
Please.
Can you get dark chocolate at Reese's peanut butter cups?
Yeah, I think you can, but it's still not. I want like 80% dark minimum.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll glob a bit of peanut butter on the top.
The darker the better.
Yeah, baby.
Lovely. How do you feel about, I don't know if you've seen the videos of these, they're like surf simulator machines where it's like you get a big old wave and then somebody holds your hand whilst you're stood on a little surfboard, so you're not actually surfing.
But it is the water pushing upwards.
Pushing upwards.
I've been near one before and didn't go on it.
Did you want to?
I think I wanted to, but I'd like to do it in private.
Okay.
Because I think you probably look very silly the first time you do that.
Probably.
So you're like, whoa.
Well, those are the only videos that comes up of people falling down.
Of course.
Yeah.
I did gigs on a cruise ship once and they had one of those on board.
Oh, really?
And I was too shy to go on it. But I'd like to give it a go. Same with indoor skydiving.
Oh, indoor skydiving. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. How do you feel about Scotch tape?
It's rare that I'll use Scotch tape.
Okay.
If I'm going for a tape, I really like the tape that's almost like woven on the top, like proper, like black masking tape sort of.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Stuff they use in a theatre, basically.
Okay.
But I'll very rarely use a tape overall.
Heavy duty.
For parcels, I guess Scotch does the job.
Parcels.
Yeah.
All right. You send a lot of parcels?
No.
All right. Okay. How do you feel, and I already know about this, how do you feel about margaritas?
Love margaritas.
Yeah.
Well, give me one margarita.
What happens if you have one margarita?
I can't even... I'm spreading my legs, yeah.
Yeah, you're spreading your legs. If you don't know the reference, I introduced Ed to a song called One Margarita. It was very popular on TikTok.
We listened to every single remix of
every
it last
single
night.
remix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just lovely.
Yeah.
5 margaritas, tush and puss,
And
fully
bum.
pumped out. Yeah.
And bum on the 5th one. So it's tush and bum, right?
It's 1 is legs open.
Yeah.
2 is head.
Yeah.
3 is
Puss.
4 is tush. 5 is have some fun. 6 is, I think she says put it in your bum.
Put it in your bum.
So maybe pegging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
It's a lot.
But yeah, I love margaritas.
And lastly, how do you feel about YouTube videos that have names like Ed Gamble being a cheeky little scamp for 7 minutes straight?
It depends how many views they've had.
Quite a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I love them.
Yeah?
There is one that was put up quite recently. Because obviously, like, it just comes up in my feed. I'm not looking at YouTube videos of myself on a regular basis.
That would be odd, but
Yeah.
yes, okay.
But comedy stuff, it just pops up.
Sure.
I think it was Ed Gamble acts like a little shit on Mock the Week for half an hour. or
Lovely.
something. And I watched it. That's funny.
Yeah, is it good?
Yeah,
it's very good, is it? Hello, baby.
Perfect timing, Paul.
We're just wrapping up. Hi, Paul. You can be
Yeah.
in it if you like. Do you want to say hello? We're not streaming or anything. This is Paul.
Paul's the tour manager.
Hi.
He's a good boy.
Very good boy.
We'll wrap up then.
Yeah, let's
That
wrap
was
up.
the end of the list anyway.
Yeah, thanks, Sam.
Thank you for being a guest. Do you want to plug anything?
I'm on tour. When's this going out?
In 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm
middle
on
of
tour.
April.
I'm on tour.
You're on tour. What's the name of the show?
Hot Diggity Dog.
There you go.
Yes.
Yes. Lovely. Definitely go see the show. It's very, very good.
Thank you, and you're very good as the support act.
Thank you. I've been having a lovely time.
Good.
Yay. You can follow the show at I've Had a Rosé, and we'll see you again for another episode soon. Goodbye.